I voted for Jeremy Corbyn in the last two Labour Party leader elections. And in fact, the second time I did it, I had to pay money to do it, and I did pay money to do it. Because at that time, I believed and still believe that Jeremy Corbyn is a decent human being whose political views are in large part aligned with my own. And I also believed that the opponents running against him for Labour leadership were singularly uncharismatic, uninspiring, and incoherent in terms of what they were going to do. So I voted for Jeremy Corbyn, and I don't regret that. But I have reached the point now where I have to give up on him, and have reached the sad conclusion that he has got to go. And the reason I feel that way is because he has proven to be an exceptionally poor party leader. Now, I understand that Jeremy Corbyn spent several decades as a left-wing backbench MP, and suddenly, unexpectedly, having the opportunity to lead the party, he was very keen to move the politics left. I get that. However, the thing to remember is, and a seasoned politician should have understood this, that he was coming into leadership at a time when the Labour Party was in opposition. An opposition party has no opportunity to make law or set policy for the government. That's not what opposition parties are for. So why Jeremy Corbyn felt that that was the time to cause this great ruckus within his own party, split it down the middle, and don't get me wrong, there were people within the party that were not going to cooperate with him, that didn't like him from day one, and were going to do anything they could to make sure that his leadership was not successful. And they bear some responsibility for the problems in the party subsequently. But when you're a party in opposition, the most important thing for you to do is to act as an alternative to the government. You've got to be able to take shots where you get the opportunity to do so, take chunks out of them. And this was a Tory government between Cameron, Osborne, and Theresa May that had made mistake after mistake after mistake, U-turn after U-turn. They were so vulnerable at the last election that it was Labour's election to win, and they still managed to lose it because of the inter-party fighting, the fact that they didn't seem unified, and the fact that Jeremy Corbyn has allowed this narrative to emerge that he would be the worst possible prime minister that this country could ever have. So that's where he's failed. He's got, deep commitments that I respect, but his political instincts are terrible. His leadership ability within the structure of the Labour Party has been sorely lacking. And we now have a situation where a Labour Party has been split. You've got several high-profile MPs who've just quit the party this week to form a new independent party, which is a terrible outcome for Labour. You've got this anti-Semitism row, which has broken out. You've got people feeling that the Labour Party is no longer, if it ever was, a friendly, welcoming place for British Jews, which is inconceivable. And in part has arisen because Jeremy Corbyn has a very long history of supporting the Palestinian cause to the detriment of the Israeli side of the argument. And whether I agree with that or not, the perception has taken hold that he is anti-Israel, that he is not friendly towards the Jewish community, and that he is quite happy for anti-Semitism to run rampant within the Labour Party. I don't necessarily believe any of those things are true, but that's the perception. And his ability to change the narrative has been almost completely lacking. When he initially ran, he said a lot of very prominent things that got a lot of media coverage. Now, every time Jeremy Corbyn speaks publicly, which isn't very often, it's to sort of hedge his bets and mince his words and try to skate down the middle of an issue without taking a stand on either side. I mean, if you think about the way he's dealt with Brexit, it's been appalling. I voted to leave. But as the leader of the Labour Party in opposition to a Tory government, Jeremy Corbyn needed to try to put aside the fact that he has been anti-EU for decades and decades. He has wanted us out of the EU for a long time. But as leader of the Labour Party, this was not a smart move for him to do, to try to avoid taking a stand. I understand that he didn't want to risk alienating a big chunk of the party, but as a result, he's alienated everybody. I don't know of anyone who's really happy with the Labour Party's performance on Brexit, of either side. So because of his lack of political instincts and his inability to chart a course, a constructive, positive, compromise course, as the leader of the Labour Party, he's had long enough to grow and learn and figure this out, and he has failed to do so at every opportunity. So I'm sorry to say that despite my support for him up until this stage, I give up. He's got to go. I don't know who the obvious successor is. There is no one obvious, frankly, but we're going to have to find another personality to lead the party if it's got any kind of future in this country. Thank you.